The best villains always think they're right. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Jack Lawrence, award-winning and best-selling mystery writer. On this channel, we talk about psychology tips and systemic theory that bring life and depth to your characters and your stories. And today we're talking about your villain, probably the second most important character in your story. So what drives a villain, right? They're driven by distorted values, unmet needs, and moral justification most of the time. They don't want chaos, at least not disorganized chaos. They want to be in control of it. They want an ultimate goal to be reached that they believe is good and right in their heart. They want order on their terms, essentially. So keeping that in mind, what would make this person scary? If they think they're doing the right thing, if they're all for order and justice in their mind, how are they scary? What makes them scary is that they're consistent, they're calm, even in chaos, and there's certainty in what they're doing. One of the greatest villains ever written is the Joker. The Joker is very calm, he's very calculated, he's consistent throughout all of the comics. His goal, even in chaos, is to get Batman. Even in organized chaos, his goal is to draw out Batman. He doesn't do just to do, and neither should your villain. There has to be reason, purpose, intention, everything driven towards this character's goal, whatever that goal is. Some of the biggest mistakes I see writers make is that they try to over-explain evil, because evil is something that most of us just can't comprehend, true evil. And so you try to over-explain it because you feel like there has to be a reason, there has to be an answer, and there doesn't. That character is going to have a reason, but the audience might not ever know what that reason is. One of the greatest examples is The Visitors. I think that's what it's called. The movie where they come to the family and they're in a house and they break in. At the very end of it, she asks, "Why are you doing this?" And their response was, "Because you're home," right? No deep, in-depth explanation. It's very to the point. And that's one of the, I think Stephen King called it one of the scariest movies he'd ever seen because of that. The other one is random cruelty, right? Where they're just at that point doing evil to be evil. There's no point. There's no purpose to them. There is no ultimate goal. They're just evil to be evil. And that really doesn't exist. People aren't evil just to be evil. Even the most evil people in history had a purpose and a goal that they felt in their heart was right. Even when they were wrong, they thought they were right. They had a purpose, they had a goal, and they were doing something that they thought was good. None of them did evil just to do evil. Mental illness shortcuts, they drive me crazy, obviously, and anybody in the field, I think, probably drives them crazy, because it is so incredibly rare that a mental illness leads to violence, that it would lead to the point of being a criminal mastermind or some sort of vicious killer. It just doesn't happen. It doesn't. So using that as a shortcut, I think, cheats the reader more than anything, but it also cheats your story, it cheats your characters. Just don't use it. It doesn't serve a real purpose. Now, that's not to say that a character can't have a mental illness, but what they're doing isn't because of the mental illness. Because I can tell you, I've worked with people with bipolar, borderline, schizophrenia. None of them are out doing evil mastermind type things or doing evil just to do evil. An important thing to keep in mind is that true villains believe they're solving a problem. Their arc should be very similar to your main character. What is the problem that they want to solve? Why do they want to solve it? How would their life improve if this problem is solved? And what happened to make this problem something that needed to be solved in the first place? And what is at stake to them if they fail, right? So some of these, maybe they were abandoned, maybe there was police cruelty, maybe everybody told them that they would never make it, that they would never do anything big in the world. Whatever it is, there was a starting point that turned them from a normal character to this villain. And they've set on this journey to do this thing, to accomplish a mission, essentially. And maybe it's the main character. Maybe the main character bullied them in high school, and that set this whole thing off. Who knows? Depends on your story, depends on your plot. But your character, your villain's arc needs to resemble the main character in the sense that there's a cause, there's something that they need to solve, and then there's a process that they found to try, and there's something at stake. Jail, death, being poor, whatever. There is a secret is revealed about them that they don't want the world to know. Whatever it is, there's something at stake if they fail. Because if there's no stake for them, then what does it matter, right? And that's kind of what it boils down to. Same with your main character. If there's no point, or if there's nothing at stake, what's the point? So if you enjoyed the video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you can get weekly tips. So if you found that helpful, be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you can get weekly psychological tips to add life, depth, and So if you found that helpful, be sure to like, share, and subscribe so that you can get weekly psychological tips to add depth and life to your characters and your story.